Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. We have the road to Fastlane. That's right, Fastlane, the next WWE pay-per-view coming up on March 10th. I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQvideo. First one today comes from Caitlin. What are your thoughts on the recent releases? There were 3 releases officially announced on Friday afternoon. The first one was Tye Dillinger. Dillinger had asked for his release a few days ago. Also, WWE announced the releases of Hideo Itami, as well as TJ Perkins, also known as TJP. And then unofficially, there was a report that WWE released Arn Anderson. My thoughts on the releases as far as the wrestlers go, no surprises. It was pretty clear to me that Tye Dillinger wanted to go when he flat out publicly asked for his release. And I'm not really that surprised that WWE granted it. It wasn't like Tye Dillinger was an upper card guy in WWE. I've said this before. I feel like the guy's talented to a degree, but he's a good wrestler in a sea of great wrestlers in WWE, and the 10 gimmick is only going to get him so far. Now, maybe he was frustrated that he wasn't getting enough opportunities. That's a valid point. So if he's frustrated, he should try his luck elsewhere and prove WWE that they made a mistake. We have TJP, who hasn't really been used much as of late. He was a big focal point of the Cruiserweight division at first, but then kind of fizzled out. No real surprise there. I think once he turned heel, that was the beginning of the end for him anyways. And then the other release, Hideo Itami, again, no surprise. Unfortunately for him, injuries really stalled his momentum, and some would argue that if he had signed with WWE 5 years earlier than he did, maybe he would have had a better run with the company. Maybe the timing just wasn't right for Itami. So unfortunate to see them go, but that's the nature of the beast. And then Arn Anderson being let go after being in a backstage role since the end of WCW with WWE. That is a little surprising, although one could argue that maybe age is catching up with him, and you have all these other agents, all these other producers that are being brought in, and WWE just felt they need to go with younger people in those roles. It's unfortunate, and maybe there's something else going on with Arn Anderson that we don't know about. I'm just speculating on that. So yeah, Arn Anderson, a little bit of a surprise, but the wrestlers being let go, not surprised really. Got this one here from Cruz. The Revival asked for their release, then win the tag bouts. Rumors of the Usos not renewing their contracts, then win the tag bouts. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear that WWE wants to keep these tag teams, especially when the Young Bucks have publicly stated that they want the tag team division in All Elite Wrestling to be a focal point. So naturally, WWE doesn't want to lose 2 of its premier tag teams to AEW. See, unlike Tye Dillinger, the Usos, they're a big part of WWE television. They've been one of the top tag teams in the company, and the Revival, arguably, they're the most talented tag team on the roster, right up there with the Usos. So those guys, WWE is going to see more value in them. So I'm not surprised WWE is taking measures to make sure that they're happy. Got this one here from the Sinful Saint. Did WWE put the Raw Tag Team titles on the Revival to keep them from signing with All Elite Wrestling once their contracts expire? And does this mean that they would cut Daniel Bryan's WWE title reign short and give the title to Randy Orton to get him to stay? Well, yes, as I mentioned in that previous question, I think that this is WWE's way of trying to keep the Revival happy, so their morale will be good and they will not end up going to All Elite Wrestling once their contracts do expire, which reportedly isn't for a while. Usos, it appears that their contracts will be up in the next couple of months. So WWE's really making the effort with them. But I think just in general, the teams that they see value in and the acts they see value in, they're going to take measures to make sure they're happy. So will this mean that we'll see other guys get big pushes? I mean, it would not shock me if somebody's close to their contract being up and all of a sudden they're getting this major push as a way to convince them to sign a new deal. Now, would it work for somebody like Randy Orton? That remains to be seen. He is a veteran. He knows the game. He knows what WWE's up to. So I think Randy Orton might be one of those guys that will do whatever he wants to do, and he's not going to be a mark for the title. Not that the Usos are, but when you have the title, theoretically, that should mean more money, more TV time, more exposure. I mean, can't really say that about the US title, but I'm saying it in a general sense. So yeah, WWE title could very well make a difference, but I don't know if it will specifically make a difference with Randy Orton or not, considering his history in the business, and he's got plenty of money, he's got plenty of fame, and I don't think he's going to just say, oh boy, I'm getting the title again, I'm going to stick around for 5 more years. But then again, I can't speak for Randy Orton. Got this one here from John. Why hasn't there been any lengthy Raw Tag Team title reigns? Since New Day lost the belts back in 2016, the longest reign has been about 80 days. Could we see the Revival break this trend? Probably not. I think what happened with the New Day is they were red hot when they won the titles, and before you knew it, they were on the way to breaking Demolition's record, and WWE's like, screw it, we're going to have them break the record. Now, with the Revival and the current scene in WWE, going back to that previous question, there may be another team close to leaving, and WWE decides to put the tag team titles on them. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see a really lengthy tag team title reign from the Revival. But then again, who knows? It's really hard to say at this point. Anything's possible, but my feeling is they will be the tag team champions for now, and that's just something to keep them happy and, you know, boost the morale a little bit. But long term, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be long-term champions or not. This one comes from Andy. What is happening with Lars Sullivan? There hasn't really been much in the way of updates with him. There was the report of the anxiety attack, and we haven't seen him. WWE stopped showing the vignettes for him, and there's been no talk about him coming back. Unfortunately, I guess I should use an Eminem song for this. You only get one shot. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. For some wrestlers, you only get that one shot to make it. And in WWE, there's so many guys and gals, so many people trying to get those very limited spots at the top. And WWE invested time and money into Lars Sullivan, and then he isn't able to perform, do his job. So yeah, the company, they're moving forward. They're going to move forward without him. Unfortunately, that's the nature of entertainment in general. You have to go out there and you have to do it. If you can't do it, somebody's going to take your spot. There's plenty of people that are willing and able to do your role if you cannot do it. So yeah, just an overall entertainment scenario. It's not just limited to WWE. And I feel bad for Lars Sullivan. I don't know what's going on in his personal life, but I felt the guy had potential to succeed. He had the look, and he was a big fan of WWE growing up. So I think he would have done really well if he was able to go out there and actually do his thing on the main roster. Got this one here from Joe. Hey, Aaron, what would be been better at WrestleMania? Let me try that again. Which would have been better at WrestleMania? What they're doing now, or maybe Asuka versus Rousey, champ versus champ, and Charlotte and Lynch versus Banks and Bayley to determine the new women's tag team champions instead of the chamber match? Becky Lynch absolutely should be facing Ronda Rousey. Nothing else. Putting Becky Lynch in a tag team match, bad idea. Waste of Becky Lynch. She's arguably the hottest act in the company right now. You go with it. If WWE wants to make a superstar out of Becky Lynch even more than she already is, she needs to be in the main event match against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania and going over. Anything else is a waste of her. So I would not do that as a tag team match. And Rousey versus Asuka, before Asuka's streak ended, I think that would have been a great idea. But then Becky Lynch caught fire. WWE dropped the ball with Asuka. Now, Becky and Ronda is the way to go. Got this one here from Caleb Jacobs. Hey, Aaron, do you think that there are comparisons between Charlotte and The Rock and, of course, Becky Lynch and Stone Cold Steve Austin? WWE is pushing them like they did them. Yeah, I definitely see Charlotte and Becky being the women's version of Stone Cold and The Rock. I fully suspect that we are going to see Charlotte and Becky have more matches over the years. You know, they still got, unless they get seriously hurt, a lot of years ahead of them. And I suspect we'll see more matches between Charlotte and Becky, maybe even a WrestleMania match one day, other than what will probably happen at this year's WrestleMania with the triple threat. But I could see them doing a singles match at WrestleMania. I definitely see them being like the women's version of Stone Cold and The Rock. No doubt about it. Got this one here from Michael Carr. Hey, Aaron, big fan of the show since the good old Talk Wrestling days with Jeff Meacham. My question is, do you think that AEW will buy Impact Wrestling in the future? Love the show. Keep up the amazing work. I don't think so. I have talked about this before. I'll just say it again. I don't think there's much value in Impact Wrestling. I really don't. The biggest value for that company at this time is the tape library. If anybody's going to buy Impact Wrestling, it would probably be WWE. I mean, they're already using the Impact Wrestling footage. They struck a deal with them. I don't really see the need in buying Impact Wrestling. If anybody's going to buy it, though, I think it'll be WWE, not AEW. Got this one here from Joshua Anderson. Do you see Becky Lynch facing Stephanie McMahon at Fastlane to get to the triple threat at WrestleMania? Personally, I do not want to see that. I would not rule it out. I know there was a rumor about them possibly having a match at SummerSlam, so I think that's more likely. I think the odds are if we see that match, it'll be after WrestleMania. WWE will try to recreate Vince and Steve Austin with Stephanie and Becky Lynch. I'm not sure how WWE is going to get Becky in the match. They may just put her in the match. You know, originally Becky was advertised to face Charlotte at Fastlane, and that was pulled from the advertisements. So WWE may have a different direction. They may just do an angle. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to do that match on such short notice. If it's going to be Becky versus Stephanie at some point, I think there'll be more build for that than just 2 weeks at the Fastlane pay-per-view. Got this one here from They See Me Rollins. Since he most likely won't go to the next Saudi Arabia show, will WWE take the title away from Daniel Bryan? And they can turn it into a storyline saying that the new Daniel Bryan will not support an oil money company? Well, that's an interesting question. I could see Bryan losing the title by WrestleMania first and foremost. If he is champion by the time that Saudi Arabia show takes place, yeah, he might not show up, and WWE may or may not give a reason why. He just might not have a match. They may not do a WWE title match. I think making an angle out of it that he's refusing to go, I feel like the problem with that is it would make him come off like a babyface to the fans because there's already that resentment about WWE having the relationship with Saudi Arabia in the first place. So if WWE goes on TV and says Bryan's protesting it, then that just makes Bryan look like a babyface in the eyes of a lot of the fans. So I don't think they're going to do that. And I got this one here from Sean Huggin. Oh, he said Huggin, not Duggan. Hey, Aaron, what were your thoughts on the Vampiro Sting feud from WCW 2000? Like most of WCW 2000, it was a train wreck. I think on paper, yeah, it kind of sounds cool. Two painted-faced guys. Sting is the old guard, Vampiro is the new guard. They're both mysterious and dark characters. You know, it does make sense to put them with each other, but it was completely botched. In particular, that scaffold match or whatever they did, the flames. I forgot what the name of the match was, but they were both on top of a scaffold and Sting got set on fire. It was so stupid. It was a really cheesy storyline, pretty much from start to finish. So yeah, I think they really dropped the ball on it, and could have been good if the writing was a lot better. So there you go. I'm sure Virtue's watching this. He's not going to be a big fan of my answer, but yeah, it was crap. That'll do it for this edition of No DQ Video. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you enjoyed today's video, please tell a friend, spread the word about No DQ Video, buy a shirt if you would like, nodq.com/shirts. And that's all I got for this time. I will see you all next time.